What's up, Power Maniacs? Pyrostasis here. We are back in the world of Call of Duty doing a little FFA on Hijacked with the Vector. I've got the silencer and the laser sight on this thing. Still not liking it all that much, but I did some work in this clip, and I was pretty happy with it, so I figured I'd share it with you guys. But today's topic, this is one of those things, I don't know if it's just the Texan in me or if I've just read way too many apocalypse, end of the world, we're all gonna fucking die books, but I saw something in the news today that literally scared the shit out of me. Yesterday, apparently, two Russian Bears, that's the Tu-95 bombers. Now, these things are badass. They're basically the nuclear force of Russia. They're designed to engage strategic assets at long range, i.e. nuke the fuck out of it, including anti-ground, anti-ship, etc. capabilities at roughly 2,500 kilometers. And since I'm a Texan, 2,500 kilometers sounds somewhere around 1,500 to 1,700 miles. So these two bad boys approached Guam. Now, if you're like me, you have to look Guam up on a map to figure out where that is. But it is U.S. territory. It's kind of like, it's not as bad as approaching like Florida or Texas or California or something along those lines. But it is one of our outlying areas. And if you look at a map, you can see it is way the fuck out in the middle of nowhere. It's like several thousand miles south east of Japan. I mean, it's way out in the middle of nowhere. And if you look at Russia, it had to fly out around Japan and around China to get there. But they did approach Guam. They did not enter our airspace, but, it's kind of like the equivalent of sending a SWAT team to run up to your sidewalk with weapons drawn and not actually enter your property. So it's kind of interesting, especially since it was right before the State of the Union address, and apparently next week we're planning on, unless things change, we're going to be doing some pretty big military cuts. But it's just kind of interesting because I don't understand why Russia would do something like that. I mean, obviously they didn't plan on attacking. I mean, that would just be fucking crazy on a level of crazy that even the North Koreans would be like, hey, that's a little nuts. But, and they didn't have escorts, and you don't send bombers like that in without escorts if you're planning on doing something because, they have a tendency to get blown the fuck out of the sky. So it was kind of scary. I mean, I don't know. From my standpoint, when somebody does something like that, it makes me think, well, we can't do the military cuts, which, in my opinion, would not be in Russia's best interest. So doing this provocation would kind of seem counterintuitive. It's almost like Russia's kind of helping us out to make sure we get our military spending that we need. But at the same time, it's kind of scary because, back, I don't know, even just 20 years ago, back in the 90s or so, well, I guess that wasn't 20 years, that was about 13, 14, 15 years ago, Russia was scary. They were the big bad enemy. The Cold War was ending. It was, they were still our biggest threat. Obviously things had cooled down a little bit, but, it wasn't, They were still the bad guys. They were the evil Russians. And, there was still something to be concerned about. And then over the last, 10, 15 years, it's Islamic terrorists and some things. And Russia's just, that communist nation that sits above China that nobody really cares about all that more. But, they're still fucking scary. They got enough nukes to end the world several times over. And, if they got big ass bombers they're willing to send to Guam, that's, I don't know, it's kind of scary. So it was, and it was also kind of funny because it was like this little one line blurb at the bottom of my my news page. And, here I am drinking my coffee and I'm like, wait, bombers approaching U.S. territory with nukes is a, fifth page story. Am I the only one that thinks maybe this should be a little more important? I don't know. Maybe, like I said, maybe it's just I've read too many post-apocalyptic world things. But, for like half a second, I thought about running out to the hills and, getting my supplies and bugging out. But I don't know. It's scary stuff. I mean, when you think about, a giant nation like that could just change your way of life in just a matter of minutes over some stupid bullshit. But I don't know. What do you guys think? You think I'm just a little crazy and it's no big deal, or do you think that's kind of a scary thing? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Hopefully you liked this video. If you did, click the like button. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next clip.